Hey y'all, so this is me. Get it into focus. Portland Lloyd. So for this semester's project, I have chosen to go with the topic of winter. I love this topic because it covers a wide range of concepts, meaning can encourage learning across all learning domains and all academic areas. Additionally, this works well for me as we are currently learning about winter in my own classroom. So I can take the assignments that we're doing here and turn them into real life learning in my classroom. So one activity, and it's one I've done before, but it uses a little bit of teacher prep on the first part. You start by taking some toy animals. I like to have one for every child in my class. I luckily only have 8 kids in my class, so I'm able to do that. You divide it up how you want to. And you're going to freeze them in a large block of ice. And this activity is going to go on across the span of 5 days. So on the first day, you bring out the block of ice, you put it in the sensory table, you say, oh no, the animals are trapped. What can we do to get them out? And at that point, you give the kids the regular toys that you would put into the sensory bin. So typically for me, that's cups, it's shovels, and things like that. So really, there's nothing much that they can do. They can touch it, they can feel it, all of that. On the second day, you're going to take it out and you're going to look at the first one and you're going to see, oh, they melted. They all came out. They must have come out overnight. You're going to talk about that. The second day, you're going to come in, bring the next block of ice out and say, okay, this time I brought salt. Let's see if shaking salt on it will change what happens in any way. So you're going to give each child the opportunity to shake as much salt on there as they want to, and then they can continue to work and play with the sensory table as they would throughout the day anyway. At the end of the day, you're going to look back, have your last meeting of the day. You're going to look back at it. You're going to talk about what happened, write it down in some way, document it. Then on the third day, you are going to give them spray bottles with cold water, and they're going to have the opportunity to spray as much cold water as they want on there. The fourth day, and you're going to repeat the process of going back and did that work, what worked, and documenting all of it. On the fourth day, you're going to give them cups, spray bottles, but they're going to have very hot water in them, as hot as they will let us have and be safe. Which again, a little bit of prep on the teacher part, but we can do that. And they're going to get the chance to spray hot water at it. And then end of the day, we're going to talk, how did that work? How did it work? Did it not work? The fifth day, we're just going to throw some flour on it. Just baking flour. And see what happens, and let the kids experiment and play, and we'll talk about it at the end of the day. Then in the end, we're going to talk what worked, what didn't work. We're going to circle back around to that next week, and we're going to say, if we had to get those animals unstuck, which one should we use? And then I'm going to bring it out, and we're going to do it again, and hopefully they find that the hot water or the salt was the one that worked the best. I can also use winter-themed books to promote language and literacy. Some ideas I have include reading the book The Snowy Day and then giving children the opportunity to make their own tracks in the snow. And this can be done by allowing children to either walk outside on a snowy day, or you could lay a big piece of butcher paper down, let them step in some white paint, and let them make their footprints that way. Another way that you could tie this into language and literacy is by giving children a shallow dish like a cookie sheet and putting baking soda and just a little bit of glitter so it looks like snow, and giving children a writing utensil, and that could be a pencil, a marker, it could be a paintbrush, it could be a stick, and letting them write either letters or numbers, or if they're working on just writing a line or a squiggle, copying a squiggle, whatever it is, they can do that in that tray, and you could be writing in the snow. To promote gross motor learning, I have a really cool game that we do with snowballs, and I'm lucky enough to have toy snowballs, and they light up. You can make them out of yarn, and it's really not that hard to do. I've done that as well. And then the third option, which also works just as fine, is rolled up white men's socks. And I say white men's because they're the big ones. So clean men's socks rolled up. And so you start by telling children, hurry, hurry, quick, quick, throw all of these balls as far away from the basket as you can. Get them so far away. And then you stop. And then you set a visual timer. And you say, okay, we're going to all work together as a team to see if we can beat the clock and get all of these in there before the timer stops. And you can kind of, if depending on your kids' age, you can kind of mess around with the times, so the first time maybe they don't get it, and the second time they don't get it, but the third time, you've set a little bit of extra time, so they're going to get it. Kind of depends on how old your children are, and maybe they just are beating the clock. Anyway, that's going to work on social emotional skills, because they're trying to get them in the basket. They're going to have to work with each other. They're going to have to talk to each other. They're going to have to communicate. They're all working towards a common goal. That's going to bring, some camaraderie to the group. And it's also going to be practicing gross motor skills and fine motor skills as they're using to pick up the snowballs. Another thing is reading the book The Mitten. And then I have just a template of a mitten cutout that I cut out with it's called the thick paper cardstock. I cut those out. We decorate them, so that's a chance for them to get some art. I've got holes poked around the sides, and then we lace them with whatever string or lace or yarn they want to use, so they have a little bit of and I'm not using that as an art project because it's not very open-ended, but it is a fine motor skill where they're working to lace the mitten. And at that point, you can talk about mittens and what do mittens do. So just across the board, it's a great theme to go with, because it really can cover so many different subjects, and it really can be a lot of fun to teach. I think one thing that I forgot was to mention one of the Missouri Early Learning Goals that it could cover. And so I said 1A, and that's 1A and all of its subparts. So physical science, and then the 1 is explore and investigate the natural world. And then the 4 points below that would be covered by these activities as well. Thank you.